The first step to planting my tomato beds is to wash out the tomato saucers because I didn't get a chance to do it when I put them away last fall. I've got a little bit of a head start. I laid them out yesterday before we had that big rain, so they were dirtier then, but the rain has washed some of the dirt out, and now I will wash them more with soap and water. This is the same soap that I use undiluted for sterilizing my pruners because it's not as hard on the metal as bleach would be. The stream setting on my dram watering nozzle is perfect for jobs like this to force any remaining soil and dirt off while I'm washing. Wow, stretching the soaker hose out in the sun made a huge difference. This was just as flexible as the old hoses that I used to use. I didn't have to try to arrange circles around where I would put plants. I could just make 5 lines up and down the bed. As you can see, I use bricks to weigh them down while I'm laying them out. Later I'll take them away and they'll just stay where they are. I'd rather do this than use those landscape pins, which can cut into the hose if you're not careful. Okay, now that my warmed up and flexible soaker hose is laid out and the washed and clean tomato saucers are also put in place, I am ready to plant. For each of these tomatoes, I will be cutting off the lower leaves using these snips so I can bury them as deep as possible. I'm going to dig the holes very deep and put a scoop of tomato tone in each one. And that's how I plant them. You can see how it comes out over here in this other bed where I have already done that. I'm trying to keep 2 lengths of the soaker hoses under each of the tomato saucers because tomatoes like to be watered well. In between each tomato plant, I will be planting 2 celery plants, and then down the middle is where I'll put bush beans. I like wax beans. Also, by the way, the last 2 plants by the fence are always my tomatillos. Plant 2 tomatillos a year. The rest here is tomatoes, and it works well to space them out like this and to keep them carefully pruned, cuts back on the disease. I used to try to crowd more tomatoes in here, but they really need the space for air circulation. So if I want to grow any tomatoes, more tomatoes than this, which of course I do, I will be planting them in containers. Well, it's taken all day, but I've got all the veggies planted in these 2 beds. Not only the tomatoes, but also the celery on the sides, and then wax bean seeds down the middle. I am watering this one over here with the soaker hose, but I may come back in with the sprinkler too. Still not done, of course. I want to add flowers, maybe some sunflowers in the middle, definitely marigolds around the edges, maybe alyssum too. And of course, if I want forage in here, I've got some that's self-sown here and at the back of the other bed. So I'll transplant it further into the bed because that's great for bringing pollinators. Okay, I did plant seeds for flowers here. Sunflowers in the middle and marigolds along the side. And as you can see, a couple days after I finished this bed, the tomato supports all up. I like these big, strong cages. And the tomatoes have already grown some since first planting. Looking good. And here's a butterfly I saw on the dill growing in the path.